Hello, this is Pia from Pia's Creative World. Today I want to show you how to make the card box which is suited for A6 size envelopes and cards. I have the We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board and this is the one we're going to use, but as most of you know, these are with American sized envelopes and American sized card sizes. This original idea is from Jennifer McGuire Ink because she was the one who actually came up with the idea for this envelope card box. I have adjusted the measurement so that it fits the European size A6 in envelopes and cards. And as you can see here, there's plenty of room for several cards and envelopes in this box. Now to start off, I'm using a 12-inch times 12-inch piece of cardstock or paper, design paper, what you have. But I need to trim it down because I don't need the size 12 times 12. The size I need to make is actually 9 3/4 of an inch. 9 3/4 of an inch on all sides. So first I cut one side and then I turn my paper and trim it again to 9 3/4 of an inch. Be rather careful to cut this precisely. The more precisely it's cut, the better end result you will get. Now it's time to start with the envelope punch board. First I align my left edge to 3 5/8 of an inch. I punch and I score. Now the next step is I don't move it. I don't change sides, I don't turn it around. I just scooch it along and I align it now to 4 5 of an 1/8 inch. I punch and I score again. Now after this is done, I can turn my paper 90 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees, and this time I have to align my score line with the score guide on the punch board. You can see this little tap. This is the one that needs to be lined up with the score line. Again, I punch and I score. Next up, I have to position this with the other score line, but because it's sort of not very obvious because the paper is too wide, I need to just fold the paper so I can get a more obvious score line and then I can proceed. This is the easiest way to do it. I line up again the score line and I punch and I score. Next up, I rotate my paper 90 degrees again, line up with the score line, punch and score. This I keep on doing until I have all 4 sides of the paper done. When you score the line and the paper is outside the punch board edges, be careful not to sort of score over the edge because this can, if you're unlucky, damage the paper. And I learned this actually the hard way. So now we are getting close to be done with all the score lines and the punches. What I do now is just that I just make a nice rounded corner and the big flaps. This is actually what can be the sort of opening, the lid of the box. But first off, most important thing, I prepare my bottom flaps. This is what is going to be the bottom of my card box. And here I just cut open alongside the little flaps. Then I turn up to what is going to be my opening. And here I just cut alongside the big flap. Now, I want there to be a little edge because I believe that gives a nicer closing, but this flap is, in my opinion, a bit too big, so I just half it in size, just half. That makes it kind of pretty, and you can always do whatever you find is best for you or what you find is the best end result. Now it's time to fold all the score lines. I could have done this before I did my cutting of the little flaps. It's just a matter of taste and how you want to do it, but I just ended up doing it in this sequence or time. Now I want to close my card box, so I need to add some glue or tape, double-sided tape. I use double-sided tape, and you can use glue as well. It's just a matter of taste and what works. It just has to be something that will keep it closed. I put a little on each of the small flaps, the ones I haven't cut anything piece off, and there's just the bottom side of the side flaps. And I can see my tape runner is being a bit tricky. My first thing is I take the little flaps and position them. This way I can get a nice control of making a rectangular sort of closing or corner of my card box. And when I have them sort of well done or placed in a nicely way, I can then sort of align my side flaps. I take one side at a time. I found out this works better because then I can sort of make sure that the top side also follows a nice angle. So you can see how here I'm just placing the alignment and the sides so I have a nice squared look. And then I give it a bit of a push. And to make sure it's well glued together, I turn it around and I give it a good rub with my hand inside the box. We're almost done now. You could actually leave it as it is now, because now the box is basically done, but I find this little tab opening a bit distracting. So what I do is I just fold it over, put a bit of adhesive on and fold it down. This is what I like, but you don't need to do this. It's not necessary, but it just gives a bit finishing touch. And now it's basically up to you how you will find a way to close it in some kind of way. Here's the other box I made. Here I've added 3 strings and tied a bow. Now, as said before, this card box is especially sized for A6 cards and envelopes. And here I'm just going to show you how they actually fit here. I know the card doesn't actually match the box, but this is just to show you how it can be. And this is it. Now you can find link to product list in my YouTube description below. And thank you for watching. You're welcome to visit my blog at PS Creative World. Have a good day.